Hello and welcome. Today we will be seeing the users management module into Nafhaa. So this is a fresh application I have installed and it has no data. So we will be starting from the scratch. So I will log in with the default credentials provided to me. And here's the landing page. So now we will go to user. I'll just type user, so I will get the user management link over here, or I can just scroll it down to the administration section, and here we will find the users management. So user is the important module or functionality because users are going to use the application. So here we will understand what is the user, what are various options, fields available into users management, and we will also see the settings related to user and what are the roles which can be defined and used in the users management. Okay, so in a fresh new application there will be a default admin user auto added, obviously to log into system and use the system. So admin is the user which cannot be deleted, and now the username can be changed for this admin user. Okay, so I will just open the existing user. To open any record in Nafhaa, just hover to the record, and when your cursor changes to the hand cursor, it means that it is a link to open the record. Okay, I'm just clicking on this, and here is the admin page or users page. Okay, so admin, and we can add email address, phone number, okay, all the details. Here some personal details, bank division, email setting, hierarchy setting, mailbox settings, login and duty schedules, dashboard and pages. This all things are there. We will look into them in detail for while adding a new user. So here we have edit role option, permission option, reset UID, reset preference, test mail. So we'll see all these functionalities when we are adding a new user. Okay, back to the page. So here I will click on a new user. This is a new user page. Here I am adding a new user as Nafhaa. You can choose the salutation, then full name, initials if you want to add, you can add, they are optional, then email, phone number. Then there is an option as extension. As Nafhaa has many of the functionalities and core features into it, there is a dial center integration with Nafhaa application where users can be added as agents to the dial center. So this extension number refers to the extension of the agent. So suppose Nafhaa username which we are adding is an agent to the call center. So we'll add the extension to that particular agent. So we will cover up this agent part or what is call center into the video where we will be covering the dashboard or the functionality or the section where the call center functionality is used. Okay, then we have the user image. We can upload the user image. Then the password. So one thing is that we can add password manually, or Nafhaa offers an option to generate the complex random password. So once we generate the password and save this user will get an automated mail with all the details including the password. Then comes the manager field. We can choose the manager for this user which we are adding. Then there is a credit manager functionality drop down given, which this manager and credit managers, they will be again a user in the Nafhaa itself, but they have very deep meaning and functionalities or the flows attached with this drop downs. Like in the case manager would be a manager where to whom this user is reporting, and credit manager would be useful when we are using the bookkeeping part into the Nafhaa where the credit functionality or overdue functionality are to be approved. So this manager and credit managers act a very important role when there is a feature or the functionality comes with respect to the automation, like if a user is punching his attendance from the app and this attendance is to be approved by manager. So the manager which we choose from the drop down would be receiving a mail for approving the mail. So this is one example, like many of the examples are there, like approval of quotation, invoices, or many of the functionalities have approval mechanism. So similarly credit manager, like if we define some flows and rules into the Nafhaa that like if credit is exceeding 15 days, already credit overdue in more than 15 days, then it should go for auto approval to manager. If it is more than 30 days, if you have set the rule, then it will go to the credit manager's mailbox, and from mail itself the manager and credit manager will check the details and they will approve or disapprove the request, whatever, or anything or similar kind of things. Then there is an option as non-operational user. Non-operational user is a user in Nafhaa system who is used for recording the transactions to the name of the particular user. Like he can be a field agent or a executive or a support engineer who is not active on a portal, but we need to acknowledge him via mail, WhatsApp, email, or SMSs, or even the non-operational users can use the app like Visit or Attendance, and they can upload or update the data into the system, but not they cannot directly log into the Nafhaa system and use the application. But why this functionality is given? So this functionality would cut your cost if the user is not actually active. So he is only using the attendance, or he is using just punching his visits, or like as I say that if we want to add any ticket to particular operator and he is not operational, or he is not a guy who is going to log in and add the data, but you just need to assign him and you need to acknowledge him over the SMS and email. We will see this functionality in detail when we are going to those particular models where this non-operational function or non-operational user is applicable. But this is very important when we are dealing with users management, because adding the users would solely depend upon what subscription you have opted for, operational users or non-operational users. Like on this portal, if I have opted for 50 operational users and 200 non-operational users, so this quota is accordingly managed. So it's very important to select if this user is non-operational. Okay, then as Nafhaa has the HR and payroll management system, so some users have auto extra privileges aligned to or assigned to them when they are HR actually, or related to HR. So if this user is HR, just mark it as yes or no. Okay. Then send daily follow-up as Nafhaa sends daily work distribution over mail to each of the individual users. If you don't want any messages or emails to be sent for work distribution, just select this setting from here. Inactivity mail is another thing. If user is not logging into the system for a specified time period which has been defined in the workflow automation in Nafhaa, like if you want to add days, like if user is not active for 4 or more days in Nafhaa, then Nafhaa should trigger an auto email to user saying that you are not active and kindly be on a portal and update your records, kind of thing. If you don't want to have those kind of inactivity emails, just opt it out from here. Okay, an inactive user is a thing like many times it happens that there is a user in an organization, after some time he is not there in organization for any reason. So even he is not like active or non-operational user, but he is inactive. He is not there in organization, or he is no part of the application. He is not there as an operational and non-operational thing also. So you just mark that user as inactive. So this is some basic information over here. I am just adding one password. This email, what I was referring to, that when you save a user, then automail will be triggered. This will only work when we are configuring the email address for the admin user. I will come back to that section again back once we are adding the user. Then I will come back to the admin user and show how where we can configure the email settings. Here on this user also we can see. Okay, so these are the basic details, and this image which we have uploaded here will reflect here. Like see, I have uploaded some image for admin. So this is not an uploaded image, this is a default image. If there is no image, system will put this image as a user image or user profile image. So for each individual user, you can upload the user image here. Then in personal details, we can add the city of the user, then state to which state he or she belongs, then pin code, then address for this user. And then in branch and division, we can add like to which branch, department he or she belongs, then to which designation, what is the designation of this user. So this is more mostly related or useful in the HR and payroll activities. So designation master is given, you can add all the designation related to your organization. Then we have given product grouping. So this is another important feature where once the user is logged into the system and he is punching some transactions. So suppose in your organization you are having different categories or groups of products. So now you want to add a restriction or a security feature that particular user should not be able to access product groups other than in which he or she is dealing. So if suppose there are two divisions in your organization like hardware and software. I'm just taking a random example which is easy to understand. So suppose the organization is having a hardware and software division, and you want this Nafhaa user to be only accessible to the software division. Then just select whatever multiple we have given facility to add up to 4 groups to individual user. What if I'm not selecting any group? Then Nafhaa says that Nafhaa makes it think that if no group is selected, this means that all the groups are accessible to this user. Okay, so you can select 1, 2, 3, up to 4 groups. And if you don't want to add any restriction to this user, just don't select any of the group apart from any of the group from this 4 groups. So user will be able to access all the products while making the transaction. So it's a bit confusing, like what is transaction and what is product selection. That we will see when we will be into business development, sales, or purchase, or a bookkeeping section, or an accounting section. Then you will come to know what is product selection. But till now, you just keep in mind that product selection is nothing but, like as I said, there are multiple divisions and one user belongs to a single division, and you want to restrict that user to make transactions to only one group of product set. So you can add multiple product sets also. Like if we are having hardware, software, and networking also products in our the networking comes under hardware itself, but I'm just giving the example. So this user belongs to software and networking group, but he doesn't belongs to hardware. So from product group 1 I will select software, and product group 2 I will select networking. So whenever this user is making any transactions sorry, he will be only able to see the products which are related to software group and networking group. And what if I'm not selecting any group? As I said, he will be able to access all the groups of product. Okay, we will see this in detail when we are making transactions. Then email settings. What are email settings? As we said that Nafhaa has many automations, so many of the times the emails are triggered automated from the backend. Like if any quotation is done, then automated mail with a beautiful template is sent to customer that saying thank you for purchase, and this is all our quotation details. This was the subject, this was the kind attention, and this was all the discussion we made, and please find the attachment. So all these mails will be sent from some mail ID, right? So Nafhaa has a provision either to make the organization standards for a mail sending mail, or make it as an individual standards. So as we are seeing the user module, later we have a templating module. That is again a vast module. We will see there also email settings. So according to the preference, what the point we need to remember here is that the email settings are first preferred with the template settings, and if there is no email setting found in the template section, then application looks at the individual login user. So how this works, we'll explain. So suppose now Nafhaa user is logged in, which we are creating now, and he is trying to make the quotation, okay, or he is making the quotation. So while making the quotation, he saves the quotation, and Nafhaa now wants to send the mail to customer. So from which mail ID Nafhaa will send? So Nafhaa will go to the template settings and go look with the quotation section. It will try to find if there is an email setting given. If yes, then Nafhaa will send the email to customer from this email settings which is being given in the template section. If not, then Nafhaa will look to the users management, to the logged in user. As I said that Nafhaa user is logged in, so it will go to user section, it will check with the Nafhaa user and see if there is email setting given. If yes, then it will use that email settings and send email to the customer. Hope I am pretty much clear how the email works. So for an is, we have given here to select the leading providers from the market, and the SMTP settings are automatically added here. So as I selected Outlook, the host, port, and SSL are automatically added. Now you just need to add your email address and your password, or the email username, whichever is been provided by your provider. Okay, great. Now what if I am using the custom provider? We strongly recommend to go with the business IDs like Outlook and Gmail offer the business suites. So it has its own credibility over email servers, so your email doesn't go into spam. Also mail local provider doesn't what you can say, doesn't follow the standards, like there should be an SSL certificates applied, because Nafhaa looks with all the securities. It will only allow you to configure email if and only if your email provider is following all the standards, like security standards and whatever email standards are defined. So even if you want to go with your custom or the provider, then you choose the others and you add your host name, port name given by your provider of the email. Okay, if you are choosing any ready for Yahoo, Outlook, Gmail application, or Nafhaa will add automatically host, port and SSL settings. Okay, I'm just clearing this. Then comes the hierarchy arrangement. What is hierarchy arrangement? So hierarchy arrangement is who comes as a level 1 to this user. Like suppose Nafhaa user is a sales executive. Then in level 1 we will define the sales manager to this sales executive. In level 2 we will define who is the sales area manager to this sales executive. Then in level 3 we will define the upper level. So like this we will just go to drop down and choose the upper hierarchies. Nafhaa also implements deep hierarchy architecture, where if suppose a sales manager's upper hierarchy has been already defined into his hierarchy arrangement, then you need not have to define all the levels. Just select as the sales manager to this sales executive, and the rest all upper hierarchies will be automatically populated. What's the use of hierarchy arrangement? First, that it helps very much into the data security. Like if I am a sales executive and I am logging in with the Nafhaa user, so Nafhaa user will be only able to see his transactions like quotations or inquiries or sales order punch into system, which are being punched by him or her. Okay, if the Nafhaa user is a sales manager, then he or she will be able to see his own records and his sales team's records. So like this the hierarchy works. Then comes the mailbox configuration. What is mailbox configuration? We have done already email settings. Then what is mailbox configuration? As I said that Nafhaa has a very widespread range of features and functionalities. Nafhaa also offers mailbox functionality. Mailbox is a thing where you can compose your mail, you can receive your mail, you can send all your manual mail. So it is nothing but a mail client. Okay, we will see what is the mailbox, how the mail client looks into the tutorial where we will be making the video on this specific module. I will be very excited for this module. We will cover many of the things into this module when we will be looking the tutorial for mailbox. You can see this module here. I will not opening this module here, but I will just highlighting it here. Okay, then comes the login schedules. We will cover this setting part because these settings are not mandatory to be done manually. As I said that whenever we go to mailbox, it will prompt for the login details and it will automatically set all the configuration here. But in case if organization is preferring not to share the email passwords, then they can configure it here manually and the user will be directly able to access the mailbox irrespective of knowing what the password is for the email. Okay, then comes the login and duty schedules. Here we will add the start time and end time. So what is the use of this? So as this start time and end time has many relevances. One of will be into the HR and payroll, where attendance, overtime and late remarks are auto calculated. So this start time and end time can be added for a specific user. Then restrict login after office times. So what is this? So suppose if I have added 10:30 as a start time and 18:30 as a end time. So if I am trying to log in before 10:30, application will not allow if this restrict login time are added here. If I am logging after 6:30 in the evening, then also application will not allow because I have opted for this option. Okay, how to opt? Just click yes, but make sure prior that you are adding the start time and end time over here. Okay, then this is the restriction with regards to the time. But what if there is a weekly holiday? So you can select from it here. Like you want to restrict the login on Sundays or Saturday, Sunday, Friday, on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever. So these are many of the probabilities covered. So you can select from here that on this particular day of week user cannot log in. Okay. Then override weekly off. So if for some user you have selected the weekly off but still you want to override, then you can opt it yes. Then why it is given, as I said that these settings are actually useful in HR and payroll also. Okay. Then duty schedules. Here you can add what are the working hours per day and what is the cost per day for this user. So again, this will be useful in making the MISs, the cost calculation for the projects, the cost calculation included in the servicing or ticketing section. So the billing and these things can be even very much automated. Even this affects the timesheet also, because application Nafhaa also provides the timesheet functionality from the application itself, and that even can be automated. Then comes the dashboard and pages. Allow service calls. This is related to the service desk or the call center, which I was referring to in the initial discussion. If we allow this, then this user will be able to access the call center or the service center, and from there he will be able to receive the calls. So what are the calls? The IPBX or the cloud solutions or telephony solutions are integrated with Nafhaa, and the user can even take the calls and make the calls from Nafhaa system itself. Okay, I think we are good to go. I will save this user. Okay, so we will see other options one by one. I will go back and see Nafhaa user has been added over here. I can scroll down and see other details also. Okay, now we will be opening the Nafhaa user. Now we have to add the permissions. So what are permissions? Permissions are the thing which allow the user to do certain activity in the system. So what is activity? Like as I said, that Nafhaa is suppose a sales executive, then he needs to access the contact module. So either I can search it from here, or I can just scroll it down and search for the specific module permission. Okay, as I have opted into this portal for all the modules which are available in Nafhaa, so you are seeing a huge list of permissions. But if you opt for the specific modules, only those permissions will be listed. So as I said, contacts. Okay, so it is showing that in default section contacts permission are listed. So what are contact permissions? So see, it comes under bulk, delete, can generate codes, delete, exhibition, hide address tab, hide anniversary, insert, label printing, lock name, read, update, and even insert. These permissions are there. So primarily update, read, add, insert, and even delete. Delete will be listed here because this starts alphabetically. So delete is listed. So these are most primary permissions which you will find in all the modules. But depending upon the depth of module and the importance or the accessibility of the module, there can be custom permissions, as we are seeing into the contacts module. So there is an option for bulk, delete, then can generate codes. So each contact can be having a unique code. So this user has permission to generate the codes. Okay. Then we can give the label printing option. Then do you want to allow this user to import the Amazon contents into the contacts? So masking and many other user permissions are given. So like if contact is having subcontact, I will just opt for all the subcontact option, and I will not opt for the import options. Okay, so I'm just clicking OK. Prior to that, I will also add the quotation related permissions. So for quotation, I am opting for all the permissions, but you don't do it. Just allow the specific set of permissions only. Quotation approval, quotation follow, then optional products permission, quotation products permission, then adding term permission. So why so much permission? Because Nafhaa believes in granular level of access. Like if you want to give only quotation view permission, and you don't want to give permission to update the columns, you don't want to give permission to update the product, so you will have full control in your hand. So there are so much granular level of permissions defined. So you can define, you can twist, you can mold the flow and the user access as per your convenience. Then there are some template access permissions which I am not giving because this is a sales executive. We strongly recommend to don't give delete permissions to all the user. So I'm just removing the delete permission. And there is one must thing that you should always allow at least Nafhaa node read permission, because node is a centralized thing which is accessible in many of the modules, and you may land into this errors like authorization denied if you are trying to open the quotation module though you are giving quotation permission, because node is a, as I mentioned, node is a centralized module and it is available in all the transactional modules and even many of the other modules in Nafhaa. So it is strongly recommended that you give at least node read permission, and depending upon your policy you can give update and delete permission for nodes. Okay, so now we have added permission for contacts, quotations and nodes. I'm just clicking OK and update. Oh, too much of work, but we have a short solution for this. We'll look into that, but first let's see login with the Nafhaa user, then we will log in with the admin and we'll see what shortcut we can have for this. So I'm signing in. See, the Nafhaa user is logged in and he is having only a basic access for which we have given the permissions. So contacts, accessing the contacts module, I'm clicking on it. Now we are seeing that there is no data. As I mentioned earlier that I'm using the very fresh portal deployed, and so we are not having any record into it. So now as we were using the users module, we are now using the contacts module. I'm just clicking on the new contact and saying whether I am able to add the new contact. Yes, I am able to add. So I'm not going into details with the contact module. We will see these details when we are referring to the contacts module. Okay. Now even if you see in the business development section, I'm only able to access the quotation because only those permissions are given. See the quotation module. Just let's click on the new. Yeah, quotation can be added. We will see quotation in the quotation tutorial. Okay. Now I'm signing off or logging off from the Nafhaa user and we'll go back into the admin user because we have still more things to cover. Okay, back to admin user. So see, in Nafhaa user we were only able to see the quotation, but business development has a whole lot of functionalities. Similarly, there are many of the modules, but they are not accessible in Nafhaa user because we gave only those permissions. As now we are logged in with the admin user, so we are able to see all the functionalities, all the modules, whatever are deployed on this portal. So I was mentioning with the permissions, right? So we can go to edit permission and see which permissions are applicable. So wherever we are finding the red circle, this means that we are not able to, we are not given this permission to this user. Okay. So green tick means that those permissions are given to this user. See, we give this contact insert update permission and only those permissions are seen in green. So you can just manually tick one by one those permissions, or if you want to give whole set of permissions, just click on this. But we never recommend to give such permissions by bulk. Just opt for a required permissions only, because delete and bulk delete can be harmful if we are. Okay, so now what? So you might be wondering how I can give this many of permissions if I'm having 200 of users into my organization. Yeah, we have a good solution for that. That's the role management. So what does role management do? So I will just come back to the user section here and we will navigate to the roles section. See, roles master. What roles it will do? So we can define a role here. So by default, employee and candidate roles are given. I will define now sales executive. Save. Now you give the set of permissions to this role, like you want to give contacts permission. I will not give all the permissions. Okay, I will give only insert, label printing, read and update, and subcontacts also. We need to do subcontacts. We'll see later what is contact, what is subcontact. We will go into those details later. Then we want to give quotation related permissions. Okay, so I'm just opting for insert quotation, then read quotation, update the quotation, then he cannot approve. Yeah, executive can add the follow-ups but cannot delete the follow-ups. Update is required because you need to update the status of the column. Quotation products will only give insert, read and update. Quotation terms also save, read, update and delete. You will not give insert or update, you will only give read. Okay. I think more than sufficient. We are good to go. Okay. Okay. Now what will be the benefit? Okay, we will go back to the users management. Now what we did for Nafhaa user, we were going back into the edit permissions, we were defining the permission for each of the module. Now it's very easy. Just go to edit row, select the role and press OK. Now all the permissions which we have defined for that set of role will be applicable for Nafhaa. So now what's the use? Suppose there are 50 of the sales executive. Just add the new user, type the name and go to edit role and set the role as sales executive. Done. You need not have to go to the edit permission and define all set of permission again and again. Just go to the role, define the role. So there can be multiple roles like accounting role, bookkeeping role, your purchase department, then your sales department, then sales executive role, then sales manager role. Just define the set of roles once, create the user, add the basic details, select the role and you are done to go. Okay. So this is about the adding user, and we can also click on this user, we can change any of the data whatever we want, and we can save this user. So like if I am updating the display name as Nafhaa application, okay, and I can just click on the update. So see, the details are updated. Then there are two more things, reset UID and reset preference. So what is reset UID? UID is a thing where it is mostly useful in your attendance app. So when you are using attendance app for a security reason, your mobile device is being linked with your username on a Nafhaa portal. So your attendance cannot be misused, or the user who is punching the attendance can't misuse the application, like installing the same application on another phone and punching the false attendance. So for this purpose, this reset UID can be used like this was a security functionality. But what if the user changes the mobile device? So he can just log a request to you and you just open that user. Suppose Nafhaa user has changed the phone and he has now installed the Nafhaa attendance app on his new phone. So now just go to reset UID, click on this. It will show that UID resetted successfully. Now your previous device is unlinked. Now just ask user to punch the attendance. The new device will be now automatically linked to Nafhaa application. Okay, cool. So now after 2 years or 1 year, the user has lost the phone. Now he is with the new phone. Just go here and reset UID. Then only he will be able to use the attendance app from the new device. This is all done automatically. So you just need to reset UID whenever the device has been changed for the user. What are the reset preferences? Nafhaa is very much flexible for users for aligning their view. Like we were in the contacts module, so you might have noticed that the first column was the contact name, then was a phone number, then was an email address. So if each and it is not necessary that each view should be same to each of the individual user. Like I will just show you an example. This is a default view of users management. But in my organization, initials are not necessary. So what I will do is that I will just hide this initial, and in my organization it's very much important with the branch. So I'm just dragging the branch near the username. Okay, this is my view. But what if the another user is logged in who is also managing the users, but for him the username and email address is very important. So what he will do, he will change the sequence again, like he will set the email next to the username. So now the email is set to next to the username. So these are the views and these are the preferences or the settings which individual user is doing. There are many more of this. We will be having another tutorial where we will be explaining how the settings are done, how the columns are aligned, how the views are aligned, how to create the favorite views. But this is all the preference. So whenever admin user is logging in, he will be having this view. If any other user is logged in, he is having his own view of column sequence. So that things are called as preferences in Nafhaa. So what if I want to restore my default preferences? Just go to reset preferences and refresh and see your email ID will be set to the defaults. Okay, so this is the default. You need to log out and log in, and this mostly works for other users, like non-admin users, because admin user is not a user who will be mostly using this application for data entry. I'm just showing this because the admin user has all the access. Okay, so what is test mail functionality? When you are adding the email configuration, it's must to do the test mail functionality. Unless and until you do this test functionality, you will be not able to save the user. So what is it useful for? To validate that whatever email settings you have done, they are valid and they are working fine. So suppose I'm just opting Rediff mail. See, test email parameters, that from is missing. This from mail ID is not added. So if I'm trying to update, it will not save or allow these settings to be used. So if you want to use this mail configuration in any of the module, unless and until you have validated the test mail functionality, though you have added this configuration, this email settings or this email configuration will not be used by Nafhaa application while making or triggering the emails in any transaction. So to make sure that you have added valid email configuration, you need to do this test email functionality and then only save this user. Okay, hope it's been pretty much clear now. Okay, this is mostly about the users. There is an edit filter functionality, like if you want to see only non-operational users, non-operational equals to true. Okay, so there are no non-operational users. You can go back here and select whatever criteria you want. So you can add multiple criteria also. We will be covering this edit filter and filtering options in the specific videos as add-on or the functionalities or the prime functionalities of Nafhaa into this tutorial. I'm just clearing this filter. Okay, thanks for watching. This was almost all about the users management, and we will be coming back to you with same tutorials for other modules also. Thank you very much.